never be satisfied. Blame the divine. Eventually they'll find the time. And what if I believe you? Or what if I believe you? What if I go on, give it your all tonight? You can say anything you like. I'm not your savior, so far away. Blinded by anger, you forgot who to blame. I'll never be your lighthouse in the dust. If I had my way, I'd guide you to the rocks. Go on, give it your all tonight. You can say anything you like. You can say anything you like. Go and give it your all. You can say anything you like. Go and give it your all. What if I believed you? What if I could? Go on, give it your all tonight. You can say anything you like. I'm not your savior, so far away. Blinded by anger, you forgot who to blame. I'll never be your guide you to the rocks. Go on, give it your all
Welcome to Whiskey Oval _@ TV, getting ready to rock and roll with race number 1 for the National Auto Racing Club Season 3. Eldora 410 sprint cars is what will be rolling into this track. Qualifying is underway right now. Over 30 machines have entered in. The 3-minute qualifying session. Steve Duff, top of the charts. Best lap time up there on the screen now. Tyler Shell P2, Kenny Hoffman, he's back there in the 3rd spot. And then you have Braden, then you have Greg rounding out the top 5. Zach is 6, Jake 7, Jordan right there in the 8th place, and then Cole rounding out the top 9. But Steve Duff, 13.100. Tyler Shell P2 with a 13.146. $16 race season. Race number 1 here at Eldora. The next week for the National Auto Racing Club, they go to Lernerville, but instead of running 410s, they run the 360s. And they switch week in and week out. Guess it's a 15 race season. Eldora, top line is where you want to be at most of the time. We'll see how the track works in, though. A lot of drivers, a lot of guys will be in the heat races. Top 4 will advance out of each heat race. Then we start with the D main, C, then the B. I did notice, though, that iRacing is showing only 1 driver is going to be making it out of the B main. Don't know if that's true. Sometimes it changes. So we'll keep an eye out on for that. Josh Hofer there in the chat says, go get them, Sam Price. Sam Price right there in the P5 spot here for heat race number 1. Lucky how that all worked out. And here's a race grid for heat race number 1 for the National Auto Racing Club. Steve Duff, driver out of the Land Down Under. The number 15 machine, he'll be on pole with Greg Lamy Jr., the number 99 machine with Elbows Up Sim Sports. You have Cole back in the Cole number 34 back in the 3rd spot with Joe Howe, driver from New Jersey, the 43 machine to the outside. Making up 3rd row, give that to Sam J. Price with FSI Motorsports. And you have Ryan Washock, the 77 machine, back there in the P6. Rounding out 4th row is going to be Brandon and then Chris Schaefer, and then you have Jeremy. Rounding out the last row there in the 9th spot. Top 4 drivers will advance. A little bit of race info. Track link, 0.44 miles. City Rossburg. 69% humidity out there tonight. Very, very tacky track. They only had about a 3-minute practice session, and that was it. No drivers are allowed to go out there on the raceway until race controller says. He waved the green flag with about 3 minutes left in practice. Finishing in the top 4 here in your heat races for race number 1 to kick off your season. That would be huge. That'd be a very big confidence boost as well. 410 sprint cars, they're going to get lined up. Going to be stacked up and packed up, slowly rolling down the back stretch. Steve is going to lead the field off. Greg to the outside. Side by side, pace truck off the raceway. For race number 1 for the National Auto Racing Club, Dove hits the gas pedal quite early. And we're off to the races. And we have cars absolutely smashing everywhere. I see Greg got way time lose. More side-by-side racing back here. Rat's Nest back for a 2nd place on back. Joe is leading this pack. You have Warshock down on the bottom side with that chrome red. You have Sam J. Price to the outside of him now. Top 4 advance. Chris Schaefer outside looking in. They're in the number 23 machine. More contact being made. 3 wide down in turns 3 and 4. Chris Schaefer throws a slide job. Now move Chris Schaefer up inside the bubble, but we're still 3 wide all the way around this place. Another driver hits the outside wall. That's Price. Everybody has crashed in this heat race. Ryan goes flipping. Chris goes flipping. Brandon is out. Outside part of the racetrack. Steve Duff, Joe, you have Cole, then you have Jeremy. And then that's it. You have Ryan Last driver out there on the racetrack. Here's some replays. Everything's all lined out. 4 more laps to go for Mr. Duff. Chopper mode. Check this stuff out. 19 machine hits the wall. Ryan, he slides up right inside the 23's car. And then the number 22 had absolutely nowhere to go. Back to line mode, back to race mode. Still 3 more laps to go. Sam J. Price, Chris Schaefer, and then Greg Lamy Jr. inside the pits right now. Brandon outside looking in of the bubble. Still got a long ways to go, though. This is the driver, Jeremy. As a white flag is going to wave. Best lap time out there on the raceway is going to be this guy, a race leader, 13.323. For the last time in turns 3 and 4, the number 7 machine going to bring it home for heat race number 1. Absolute chaos. Final results up there on your screen. That's how that's all going to stack up. Nerves for heat race number 1, they were high. Adrenaline was high. They wanted to go flat out. Tacky track here at Eldora. They wanted to make that A main. You have to get up there in the top 4. Sometimes you got to push the issue. Sometimes you can push it a little bit too much, though. Everyone's wing, put that sucker at 0 and let her rip. Some slick is being formed right before turns 1 and 2 there. Keep an eye out on for that. As heat race number 2 is slowly starting to roll out there on the raceway now. So here is the grid. Tyler Shell, driver out of Pennsylvania, the number 44 machine. He'll be on the top spot. Zach Janis with SSR Elite Sim Racing, the number 24 machine. To the outside, you have Larry Foster in the 25. He'll be starting up the second row with Dylan Evers with Team SSR to the outside of him. Making up the third row, give that to Kernay with Team SSR. And then Hunger Buster Kale, the 58 machine with Team SSR. You have Connor back in P7, Colin Murphy P8, and then you have Brent Hagan, number 95 machine, driver out of the Midwest. He'll be making up that very last spot. They're in the P9 spot, exact same thing. Top 4 goes straight to the Mac Daddy show. Everyone else, you have to fight through the lower mains. We're stacked up, packed up. Wheel to wheel, wing to wing. Slowly rolling off of turns 3 and 4 now. Still a little bit of shimmy and shiming down in the turn at number 1. Shell leading this thing down in turns 3 and 4, and he did lead lap number 1. He slides that thing all the way to the outside wall, coming across the line once again. 32 seconds in this heat race. Tyler Shell already pulling away. Dylan Evers, P2. Zach Janis trying to work the bottom side part of the racetrack. Was trying to hang with Tyler Shell very early on. Slide job up there for P2. Zach slid that thing all the way up to the outside wall. Now here comes Dylan Evers, repaying that favor. Courtney out is right there in 4th place. Larry Foster is the first car outside looking in, but Courtney in the hot seat right now with Mud Turtles there on that front wing. Larry Foster, he gets hooked up to the outside wall. That ain't gonna be good for him. And now Courtney, Mud Turtles, he goes flipping. Courtney stuck there on the back part or the back stretch. Race leader Tyler Shell already working in turns 3 and 4. Zach, he has P2. Dylan Evers, he does have 3rd place. Then you have Connor do it. Rounding out that last transfer spot. Connor moved up 3 spots, and he is sitting on the hot seat. Colin Murphy trying to track him down, though. Lap 7 of 10 is what we're working. 3 laps ago whenever the leaders cross a race line. Inside the cockpit mode now. Colin Murphy, can he run down Connor Dewey? Down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. Murphy goes down to the bottom side. 2 laps to go around at Eldora. Eyes are glued right here for this last and final transfer spot to the Mac Daddy Show. Last lap time up there on your race screen now. Doing a 13.5, but Murphy ran a little bit quicker. He gets stuck there in the slick coming out of turn 4. For the final time down the backstretch, the 26 machine holding on to that final transfer spot. He goes down to the bottom side. Murphy gives it one last dish effort, but it's not going to be good enough. He'll be on the outside looking in with Hunger Buster Kale and Brent, and then Larry Foster and Mud Turtles of Curtin A rounding out that 9th spot. Tyler Schell, our race winner for heat race number 2. Crazy action here tonight for the National Auto Racing Club. Some guys I would not expect to wreck out as early as they did. Well, they did. Well, everyone trying to put that right rear tire next to the outside wall. As heat race number 3 is upon us. Exact same format. 10 cars already contact being made out there on pit road. There we go with the grid. Driver that's going to be starting on the top spot is going to be Mr. Kenny Hoffman. His favorite saying is saying, eat my dust. The number 1 machine with Elite Sim Racing. Jake Sonatag to the outside. You have Thomas Brandon with SSR Elite Sim Racing, number 35 machine. He's back in P3. You have Jared, the number 32 machine, driver out of Illinois. He'll be making up that second row. Make up third row, give that to Brandon Garman, number 18 machine with Team SSR. And then you have Jake, number 14 machine. They're in P6. Tim Alton from the frozen land up north called Canada. Still on lockdown is what I've been told. He's back in a 7th spot. Caleb, 8th place, and Eric Summerfield with Garmin Sim Racing. Rounding out the race field. Pace lights are off on the pace truck. We'll be going green flag racing this time by Kenny Hoppin, slowing down the race field quite a bit. Kenny Hoffman, first car on the inside. Jake Sonatag to the outside. Slow restart here for the race field. 410 sprint cars here at Eldora. Step on the loud pedal, kids, and here we go. Green flag racing. Inside the cockpit mode. With Eckerson, the number 14 machine, the guy that's in 5th place now. He works down to the bottom side in turns 3 and 4. Slick is building up down there to the inside wall. He gets loose into the apex of turns 3 and 4. Side-by-side battle all for this 5th spot now. Jake's going to lose it. Tim Alton moved that guy up to the first car on the outside looking in. Tim taps the outside wall, though. Thomas Brandon, he's in the hot seat right now with SSR Elite Sim Racing, number 35 machine. Trying to find some grip. Jared there in P3. Jake Sonatag is right there in 2nd place, and Kenny Hoffman. Down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. The number 1 machine slides that thing all the way out to the outside wall, finds a little grip, and clicks off another lap. 4 laps to go. We're 1 minute and 15 seconds in heat race number 3. As a field works down the backstretch and in turns 3 and 4 now. Thomas Brandon still holding on to his very last transfer spot with Team SSR. Inside the cockpit mode, see what type of lines these drivers are running. Top 4, put them right next to the outside cushion. Trying to find all that grip as you possibly can. Eldora can get slicked off very fast. Heat race number 3, 2 laps to go. Thomas closed into this back Nerf bar of the 32 machine of Jared. Will he be able to do anything with it, though? Down the backstretch, Thomas, he looks down to the bottom side. Jared, he's going to try to close off that bottom side. White flags out. For the final time around Eldora, Kenny Hoffman down the backstretch for the final time into turns 3 and 4. Jake Sonatag, 2nd place, pretty much locked up. 3rd place, Jared has it. Thomas is going to bring it home in fourth. Jake, Tim, Caleb, Eric, and then Brandon Garman rounding out the race field with Brandon Garman's machine completely torn up. That was a lot cleaner heat race. There was one car that hit the outside wall. Then Garmin's machine was all torn up, but I didn't see exactly what happened to that driver. Jason Butterfield Jr. says, go get him, Kenny. You talk about a guy that likes big block racing. That's Jason Butterfield. Heat race number 4. Here we go. As the drivers get lined up, they get jumped into the race cars in their 410 sprints. They're going to go out there for their very first laps for season number 3 for the NARC season for the National Auto Racing Club. If you guys would like to join this action, go check them out on Facebook, National Auto Racing Club. And here we go with the lineup. Sponsors up there in the top right-hand corner. Personal Evolution Company and SSR, School of Sim Racing. Braden, driving out of Pennsylvania. He'll be the driver that'll be on pole. Jordan Etter to the outside of him, the number 65 machine. You have Jeff there in P3, and then you have Wade Fields with Indy Race Parts Esports, number 71 machine. Patrick Spangler running the classic, the famous number 10 machine. Paint Scheme, the wide open motorsports driver. He'll be starting there in P5. You have Bruce Kling to the outside of him with Elbows Up Sim Sports, the number 21 machine. Trevor, the number 90 machine, very fast driver out of Pennsylvania. He'll be back there in P7. You have John in 8th place and Joshua rounding out that 9th and final spot here for heat race number 4. We'll see how this action all plays out. Green flag out. Bruce taps the outside wall. Three wide racing. Patrick Spangler trying to thread the needle down to the bottom side of Wade Fields. Wade gets pushed up to the outside wall, and here comes Jordan Etter now down to the bottom side. Etter, he snuck that 410 sprint car right smack down in the middle part, and there we go. We're crashing. Trevor. Yeah, Bruce Kling and John, they were all in that mess. A 3-car pile up there on the backstretch here in heat race number 4. Patrick Spangler still in this race, though. The car is still connected together, but he has some gaps to make up, trying to catch Wade Fields. Fields works the bottom side, halfway home to mama here in heat race and number 4. Jordan Etter, great race by him. He snuck that thing right on up there, but Jeff, he moved up 2 spots here in the heat race number 4. And he has grabbed the lead, but Braden trying to work the bottom side part of the racetrack, and this number 5 machine is slowly making his way up front. Braden does have that famous WC license tag as he works bottoms of 1 and 2, trying to get underneath of Jeff. Will he try to slide it up? No. Braden puts that thing all the way down to the inside wall still, working in turns 3 and 4. Jeff trying to let all hang out. Braden taps the inside wall. He does a wheel stand down the front straightaway. He did make contact with Jordan Etter. Jordan was able to keep it straight, though. Doesn't look like he has too much damage there on the 65 machine, but a very close call for Jordan Etter. Patrick Spangler up into the race now, and Wade Fields has made it inside the bubble, and now the pro license driver, Braden, outside looking in. Wade Fields definitely got some pressure there. Wade Fields is in the hot seat with a very fast driver behind him. White, the flag is out here at Eldor for heat race number 4. Braden sticks that thing all the way next to the outside wall, and Wade Fields is stuck right smack dab there in the middle part of the raceway. Final time in turns 3 and 4. Wade Fields is going to make it into the Mac Daddy show. Braden will have to work his way through the B main. Jordan Etter P3, and Patrick Spangler, and then Jeff rounding out the top 4. Very, very close call for Jordan Etter, and that guy had a couple of close calls. Threaded the needle halfway through that heat race number 4, and then a big-time driver mistake down there to the bottom side. Heat race 4 up there on your screen now. That's our final results. Brandon made that big time driver error. Taps the inside wall as he was trying to hunt down Jeff. The D main, and man, you have a lot of fast drivers in this thing. A lot of fast drivers. 4 cars will make it out of this thing and go on to the C main, but man, you got a lot of guys that'll have to do the alphabet soup here for the National Auto Racing Club. Trevor, a very fast driver. You have Eric Summerfield. Greg Lamy Jr. did not have the best of heat races. Curtin A back there in 4th spot. You have Brandon Garman. You have Bruce Klingen. This is one of the most stacked D main events I have seen. Only 8 laps, 2 laps short or shy of the heat races. Here's a grid lineup. I think I already said it without meaning to say it. Eric, top spot. Trevor to the outside. Greg Lamy Jr. making up the second row with Curtin A to the outside of him. Brandon Garman and Bruce Klingen rounding out the top field, or the D main. Top 4 drivers advance. See how it all works out. Eric Summerfield, when will he go? Will Trevor be able to match his restart? Trevor pinching him way down. Summerfield stands on the lap pedal, and here we go. D main events out, 8 laps. And there we go. Greg Lamy Jr. shoots up to the top spots. Big time slide job at 2-for-1 dinner deal down in turns 3 and 4. Trevor, he's going to fight hard down to the bottom side. Trevor with the big time slide job for the race lead here in the D main. Eric Summerfield, he's already lost 2 spots. Will he be able to hold on though? Brandon Garman and Bruce Klingen going to fight it out. Garman down to the bottom side. Curtin A rounding out the race field. Bruce Klingen in the hot seat though. They're in the number 21 machine. Greg Lamy Jr. tries to pull away from Trevor here in turns 3 and 4. Looks like he will halfway home here in the D main event. Bruce Klingen, he's up to 3rd spot now, and now Brandon Garman is up to that final transfer spot. Curtin A taps the outside wall. In turns 3 and 4 now, Brandon Garman, can he advance in? Eric Summerfield trying to catch him down the front stretch. 17 machine of Eric Summerfield looks a little loose coming out of turns 4 there. Checking up on our race leader, though, Greg Lamy Jr. absolutely putting a dominating performance here in the D main event. Best lap time out there on the raceway. Right there, a 13.850 for the number 99 machine. Trevor ran a 13.958. Bruce Klingen a 14.1. Brandon Garman a 14.6. 13.8, and Greg Lamy Jr. still matching his quickest lap time out there on lap 8. For the final time in turns, or down the backstretch. Coming out turn 4 is going to be Greg, Trevor, Bruce, and then Brandon Garman. Will he lock himself into the C main? Yes, he will. Greg went down to the bottom side there on lap number 1, slid that 410 sprint car all the way next to the outside wall. Got a 2-for-1 dinner deal. He grabbed the lead and did not look back. Another lower main. This is a C main, and we're going to add 2 more laps out from the D main, so make it 10 laps now. 4 cars are going to make it out of this, so Sam J. Price is inside the bubble right now, or he will be starting there in the 4th spot. Top 4 drivers here in the C main. This is how they're all going to work out. Brent Hagan and Caleb there on the front row. You have John and Sam making up the 2nd row. Larry Foster in P5. Greg Lamy Jr. out of the D main. He'll be starting there in P6. Trevor out of the D main with Bruce, and then Brandon Garman. 9 cars, top 4. Eldora Speedway. Track is getting slicked up, though. And one good thing from the 6th place on back. 5th place on back. Those guys just got done running, so they know what this track feels like. They got their muscle memory right. They know where to put that top wing at. Will that help them out here? Where's track position and everything? Eldora Speedway. Brent Hagan, Caleb, front row. Waiting for the green, a flag to wave. Green flag is out, and we're going to shimmy a shive down into turn number 1. Brent Hagan all the way there to the outside wall. He's going to try to, I think he led actually lap number 1. Greg Lamy Jr., he has made that car 3 wide down the backstretch. He's going to try to throw a big-time slide job for the race lead, and Greg Lamy Jr. wants the race lead, and he's going to try to get for it. Caleb led that last lap, though. Bruce Clegan, he falls back to P3. Trevor, he's up to 4th place. Brent Hagan, P5. You have John in 6th place. Larry Foster, Brandon Garman, and then Sam J. Price. Lap 4 of 10 now. Everyone trying to work that high side part of the racetrack besides Trevor. But watch out. Caleb tries to do the cut down line, but Trevor was there out of 4. Side by side, 3 wide into the apex of turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Trevor trying to get that 3rd spot away from Caleb. Will he be able to do it? He slides it right next to the outside cushion, but Caleb does a crossover move, and now they're going to follow single file turns 1 and 2. Trevor hits the outside, Caleb hits the outside wall. Lap 6 of 10. Those cars are inside the B main if they can just finish there. Brent Hagan outside looking in there, the number 95 machine, the driver that started on pole. He's on the outside of the bubble now. John there in 6th place. You have Larry Foster, you have Brandon Garman, then Sam J. Price rounding out the C main. 1 minute and 42 seconds in this race now. And our race leader, Greg Lamy Jr., opening a gap over Bruce Clingan. Bruce kind of runs a slider line in there in turns 3 and 4. Tries to bounce off the race cushion and down the front stretch. 2 laps to go. Good battles back here for the 5th place on back. John looks down to the bottom side. And turns 3 and 4 trying to work off at turn 4. And he's going to come up short, but he's going to finish there in the... white flag this time by. Down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. A big-time wad of cars here. Final stretch to the checkered flag, and that's how everything's going to line up. Greg, Bruce, Trevor, and Caleb. Top 3 drivers came out of the D main. They'll be up in the B main now. The C main results up there on your screen. I gotta verify something really quick though. Okay, I'm glad I verified that. Top 8's gonna advance out of this. Before the race started, it showed 1. I was like, man, I don't think that's right. They're iRacing. 13 drivers are on the grid, getting ready to battle it out for 8 spots, 5 cars. They're going to be ending their night early.
Right now, there is a shortage of IT.
This is how the grid is going to line up for the National Auto Racing Club B main event. Brandon with Double Deuce Motorsports, the double Deuce machine. He'll be on pole with Colin Murphy to the outside. Jake, he'll be starting in the 3rd spot, and Braden to the outside of him. Brian in P5, Cal in P6. You have the guy up there in the frozen land up north, Tim Alton. He's starting there in 7th spot with Joshua. They're in the 8th spot. Craig Schaefer, he'll be starting in 9th place with Greg Lamy Jr. there in P10. Bruce Clingan in 11th. Trevor back there in the 12th spot. Rounding out the race field is going to be Caleb, driver out of Illinois. B main event, who will make it into the Mac Daddy Show? That's the question. Colin Murphy, Brandon front row, Jake and Kale in the second row. Green flags out. Brandon got way loose coming out of turn 4. Outside shot of the race field. Everybody is stacked up 3 wide there in the second row. Still 3 wide into turns 3 and 4 now. Trevor, bottom side, big time slide job next to the outside wall for the race lead. And we are beating and banging it out there, elbows up racing. Trevor working the outside part of the racetrack. Brandon trying to hold on to the race lead, but not going to deny Trevor. He goes back down to the bottom side. He's going to glue that thing down to the inside wall. Brandon, Ryan, you have Colin Murphy. Tim Alton is in this mess as well. But the guy that is inside of it, they're in the 8th spot, Colin Murphy. And the guy outside looking in is this driver, Hunger Buster Kale. Kale started up there in the second row. I believe they're in the number 58. 8 machine has fell back quite a bit. But Trevor moving up 10 spots. Greg Lamy Jr. has a race lead once again out of the D main all the way up to the B main. Trevor P2, Jake 3rd place. Ryan Warshaw back there in the 4th spot. Sire Nosatel for 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. Ryan kind of works that middle part of the racetrack. Now Bruce is going to get a good run off that top line. He's going to try a slide job right inside that gap. Will he do it? Yes, he will. Jake will have to, or Ryan has to put on the brakes. Was able to do the crisscross move, and he slides it right back up in front of him. Eldora, the classic Eldora race line, all the way next to the outside wall, and throw the haymaker of slide jobs to get around somebody. Working lap 9 of 12 now. 2 minutes and 3 seconds into the B main show. Swapping spots back here for the 6th and 7th spot. Tillman Alton and Colin Murphy, they're going to go to war with each other. Murphy down the backstretch and into turns number 3. The number 9 machine lock him up into that 6th spot as of right now. And then Brandon inside the bubble. He is inside that last transfer spot there in the number 2 or double deuce machine, the 22 machine. Caleb out of the C main, outside of looking in. 2 laps to go. Back up front, how hard do you want to race? If you are inside the top 8, how hard do you want to race that guy there in front of you? Bruce all the way to the outside wall trying to undercut Jake Eckerson, and he will do it. Move Bruce to P4, but Greg Lamy Jr. White flags out. Final time down the backstretch. Greg, top spot. Trevor, P2. As the checker flag waves. So that's it. That's it with the lower mains. Alphabet soup is done. B main results up there on your screen. We had a couple guys. Greg won the D main, won the C main, won the B main. And he's ready to rock and roll with elbows up Sim Sports for the Mac Daddy Show. Same thing with Trevor. He got 2nd in the D main, 2nd in the C main, and 2nd there in the B main. Ryan Warshaw and then Jake rounding out the top 4. Race number 1, National Auto Racing Club. They go to Lernerville next week. No outside wall there, and they'll be running the 360 sprints. And they go to Weed Sport for week number 3. They're off for week number 4, and then they restart at Cedar Lake. Big block modified tonight at 9:30 Eastern. Dirt midgets tomorrow with 410 non-wings on Thursday nights. They do have a 360 wing track champion. As warm-up is underway, they'll take a small little break, throw the checker flag here soon. We'll get ready to rock and roll with the Mac Daddy Show. Super late models, too. They got everything. National Auto Racing Club has absolutely all of it. Checkered flag waves. We're gonna get ready to rock and roll. For the Mac Daddy Show.
Tell me a lie to keep me in line. You swear it's a sign, but it's the torture to rise.
A 24-car field, 30 laps around Eldora Speedway. Who will take home the very first checkered flag for season number 3 for the National Auto Racing Club? All the drivers are inside their vehicles now. And 24 drivers are going to battle it out for 30 laps. The grid. This is how the grid is going to line up.
Cover your eyes.
24 drivers. Qualifying's over with. Practice is over with. All the heat races, the DC and B mains over with. This is for all the marbles. And here's the grid. The man is going to be starting on pole for race number 1 for season 3 for the National Auto Racing Club. Give that to Steve Duff from Australia. Tyler Shell to the outside of him. Kenny Hoffman, he'll be starting there in the 3rd spot with Jeff to the outside. Joe, give him the 5th spot with Zach rounding out the 3rd row. Rounding out the 4th row, give that to Jake and Patrick. 5th row is going to be Cole and Dylan. You have Jared and Jordan back there in the 11th and 12th spot, halfway through the grid. 13th spot is going to be Jeremy and Connor, Thomas and Wade. Greg Lemley Jr. out of the D main event. Trevor Royer out of the D main event as well. Ryan Warshock, Jake, Bruce, Colin, Tim, and then Brandon. Stacked up, packed up. Wing to wing, wheel to wheel, throw out the green flag. Let's shimmy a shive down to turn number 1. Contact made. Trevor's in the mess. He goes almost flipping. The yellow flag is going to wave on lap number 3 right when we went into cockpit mode with the number 90 machine, and he gets wrecked. Tight racing, tight quarter racing out here at Eldora. And here's a replay. Watch that number 90 machine. Car in the outside wall there. You guys can make the call on that. I don't know. Chopper mode. Chopper mode will find anything. Number 90 of the 71 down there to the bottom side. Did he push up Trevor there to the outside wall? Regardless, set machine, he was next to the outside wall. The 71 might have came up a slight bit. Trevor got pushed in, and there you go. That's a chaos for the first caution flag here for the National Auto Racing Club. Steve Duff, still our race leader. And Tyler Shell is being shown out of this race as well. Don't know what happened to Tyler Shell. We're under caution. Tyler Shell, the guy that was in 2nd place, started on the outside of the front row. He's being shown gone. Show that he crashed. I don't know how true that is. So here we go. Back to live mode, back to race mode. Tyler Shell disconnected or something. He's out of it. Here we go. Steve, front row now. Zach and Kenny Hoff in top 3. Yellow flag back out. Very quick yellow flag. Shaky start. Right when they got those engines wounded back up, got the RPMs up, the yellow flag's on a wave, but once again, don't show no one. Showed no one has crashed. Actually, Thomas Brandon is showing red up on the program, the 35 machine down there on the bottom side. Oh man, big time pile up there in front of him. Ryan was in it. Greg Lamy Jr. was in it as well. Watch this. Watch the number 99 machine. Might have came right over the nose of the 71, but regardless, the 71 machine of Wade Fields, part of another crash, if it was his doing or not. It's only on lap 4 of 30. Tyler Wilson has subscribed to the YouTube channel. Much appreciated there, Tyler. Jason Butterfield has liked the stream. Dylan Evers has liked it as well. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in to WhiskeyOval_TV, either here on Facebook and or YouTube. Getting ready to go back under green flag conditions. Kenny Hoffman to the outside. Steve Duff there on the top spot with ABR setup shops. Big time slow up. Games being played. Lights on the pace truck is off though. Side by side we go now. A little bit of contact making up there on that front row. Kenny Hoffman trying to get that grip for his restart. Green flag back out. Steve Duff to the top spot as of right now. Working our way back through the pack. Zach Janis having a very good race. Working that bottom side part of the racetrack, and the yellow flag once again back out on the raceway. So three yellows very early on. I got Brandon and Colin Murphy showing red. We'll see what happened to these guys. Patrick Spangler, no, that might be the wrong one. There we go. Brandon there in the double deuce machine, and there was contact already there from him. A big time pile up. The 22 machine trying to get it woed up. He just couldn't. He's into the pit road. So a crazy night. Very crazy night. He raced number one, just set the tempo for the rest of the night. It was elbows up racing, and it was go time for those guys. Lights on the pace truck will be going off this time by. Steve Duff, Kenny Hoffman there on the outside, or is going to make up the front row. Sorry, Zach Janis going to make up the front row. Kenny Hoffman is P3, and Patrick Spangler, what a night the number 10 machine is having. Going to work down the backstretch. Pace truck going to pull itself in, and we'll be back to green flag, trying to make some green flag laps here. Outside shot of the speedway. Green flag back out. I think the nerves have now settled down. Nerves have settled down. Everyone's going to try to compose their thoughts. And we're back under green flag conditions. Steve Duff leading the race field. Zach, very strong driver here in the 410s. He taps the outside wall, coming out of 4 and 3 wide back here in the third spot. Cole's going to slide it up right in front of that front wing of Kenny Hoffman. But Greg Lamy Jr. making his way up there to the top spot now. Greg's back here in P6 trying to rip the lip. Patrick Spangler right there in front of him. Greg's going to diamond cut off in turns 3 and 4. Trying to do everything he can to make up some spots. Cole's back here in 6th spot. Jake Sonadak 8th place. Bruce Kling, and then Joe Howe, and then Wade Fields rounding out the top 10 as a yellow flag is going to wave once again. Greg Lamy Jr. has moved up 12 spots here in the Mac Daddy Show with 20 laps to go. Showing all sorts of guys wrecked. Jake, Trevor, and Jordan. You have Ryan and Colin Murphy all showing red. Jake to the outside, Trevor down to the bottom side. Quarter speed action, and Jordan Eder there to the bottom side part of the raceway, and then everybody gets stacked up. Colin Murphy almost got around it. Check this view out. He thought he had it. And right at this point, there's really no chance. Went to the outside, and then Ryan, I don't know if he held his brake or not, just kind of slid right up in front of him. One more time. That was actually kind of cool. Colin says, all right, I'm good. Just kidding. Back to live mode, back to race mode. Caution flags are waving here at Eldora, only lap 11 of 30. Steve Duff trying to hold on to the top spot. Zach Janister in P2, Kenny Hoffman P3, Patrick Spangler and Greg Lamy Jr. rounding out the top 5. Single file restart. Race controller wanted, that's what he's going to get. Green flag back out, everybody. Diamond cuts off of turn 4. Patrick going to try to get in front of Greg now. Will he slide it up in front of him? No, he won't. He'll keep that one lane to the outside for the number 99 machine. Greg works the bottom side. Kenny Hoffman stuck in the middle part of the racetrack. Zach Janis still in P2, trying to hunt down a race leader of Steve Duff. But the battle is on for the 3rd spot, and Greg Lamy Jr. got it. Kenny Hoffman falls back to 4th spot, and here comes Cole now. Another pro driver almost taps the inside wall, almost body slams Greg Lamy Jr. Very good driving by the number 8 machine. Almost hits the inside wall, and he had to take advantage of that. It had to take some big-time action there. So Zach takes a race lead away from Steve Duff. That's the first time Steve did not lead a lap, but he's not going out without a fight. The ABR setup shop driver from Australia did try to throw the slide job back on him, but Zach had plenty of time to do the crossover. Greg Lamy Jr., our hard charger out of the D main, is up in the 3rd spot with halfway home to mama this time by. Down the back stretch into turn number 3 now. Number 99 machine trying to reel in Steve and Zach. Kenny Hoffman still in P4. You have Cole back in 5th spot. Bruce Klingen falling back now. What happened to this driver? He goes flipping there on the side of his raceway. Of his race car there on the raceway. Then his car is absolutely destroyed. The engine covers off, and he's in the pits, and his night is going to be done. Bruce is out of this race, having a very good race, too. Up inside the top 10. And oh, no, Patrick Spangler and Cole, they get connected. And then Bruce had absolutely nowhere to go. Cole stands on the loud pedal and just keeps driving. And Bruce just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Cole hits the inside wall as well. And Cole goes flipping. He grabs a toe, and his night most likely being done as well. So a big-time shakeup there in the top 10. Actually, the top 5. I have Trevor being in the pits as well. So a lot of fast names. You have 2 pro drivers inside the pits of Tyler Shell and Cole. You had Brandon there in 23rd spot, and then Bruce Clayton has now entered in the pits. Did not think this is how this race would shake up. Eldora, though, you can't bet on it. Anything can happen. Zach, Steve, Greg, Kenny, Patrick, top 5. Very close moment for this number 10 machine. A little bit of wing damage on the front wing. Back under green flag, though. Hard racing back here. Wade Fields, he's going to slide that thing next to the outside wall, and now Wade Fields moved him up to the 6th spot. Outside shot here at Eldora Speedway. Down the backstretch, the field goes. Joe Howe, he's being shown there in the 7th spot. And we have one guy flipping. That's Kenny Hoffman up on the hood. Kenny Hoffman goes flipping there on the hood, and his night is going to come to an end as well. Inside the top 5. Dangerous place where you want to be. Laps to go. Watch this replay. Kenny Hoffman, I think Greg Lamy Jr. lost a spot as well. Patrick Spangler throws a slide job, but here goes Kenny. What happened to this guy? And there you have it. Another time. Tries to throw a slide job, and man, very close racing. And Greg absolutely smokes him as he was flipping. So back to live mode, back to race mode, 12 laps to go. Zach has a race lead. Steve trying to hold P2. Patrick Spangler having a very good night there in the number 10 machine. But don't count out the number 99 machine of Greg Lamy Jr. all the way from the D main. 10 laps to go. 15 minutes and 18 seconds here in the Mac Daddy Show. Patrick Spangler trying to hold into that 3rd spot. Wade Fields 5th place. Joe House 6th. Jake Sonatag working on the bottom side. He's running 7th place. Dylan Evers back in 8th. You have Connor back in the 9th spot. Jared rounding out the top 10. Jeff back in 11th place. Ryan's moved up 7 spots in the Mac Daddy Show. He's been shown in 12th. You have Thomas Brandon here in the 13th spot there in the number 35 machine. Jake working the outside part of him. As they make contact, hold on to it. Tim Alton to the outside. Green flag is still going to wave, and these drivers are all swapping back here for the 15th on back. And that's how the grid is going to line up. 19th on back. Trevor, Kenny, Bruce, Cole, Brandon, and Tyler Shell are out of this race. Working lap 23 of 30 now. The gap up there on your screen. A 1.6 second gap for our race leader. Steve gets into the outside wall. Greg tries a diamond cut off of turn 4, making sure he did not hit him, but he is inside. He's on that grip down the backstretch. Big time slide job by Greg. Steve seeing it coming. He did a quick crossover move, so move Greg back to third place once again. Patrick Spangler still holding on to a top 5. Wade Fields rounding out the top 5, or riding out that 5th and final top 5 spot with Indy Race Parts Esports. Joe Howe, though, closing in on the back bumper. What will the 43 machine do? He goes down to the bottom side. Does he slide job him? No, he won't. Wade Fields taps the outside wall as a yellow flag is going to wave, and Zach's 1.5 second gap is going to completely vanish now. A 1.5 second lead for the number 24 machine, completely gone after a late race caution. It is no hold bars out there. Now 19th through 24th is out of this race. Tim Alton is inside of the pit road now, or is inside of pit lane. He's back there in the 18th spot. Hard charge is going to be the number 99 machine. Moving up 14 spots. Wade Phil's moved up 11. That number 71 car. 410 sprint cars coming to an end. 4 laps to go around Eldora. Who will come out on top? Is that good? A good restart back under green flag. Steve sticks to the back nerf bar of the number 24 machine of Zach. Tries the diamond cut off of turns 2 now. Into turns 3 and 4. Top 3. Hanging out to the outside wall. Patrick Spangler went down to the bottom side for a quick bit in turns 3 and 4. But here comes Greg Lamy Jr. now to the outside. Steve Duff's going to try to throw the monster slide job for the race lead. Not clear yet. Zach throws a crossover move. Side by side coming across the line. Give it to Zach that time by 2 laps to go. And Greg Lamy Jr. gets into the back of Steve Duff, the number 15 machine. The green flag is still going away. So move Patrick Spangler up to that final and last podium spot. Can he hold on to it? And Zach Janis is running away with it. A 1-second race lead. Greg Lamy Jr. P2. Patrick Spangler 3rd spot. Wade Fields 4th. Steve Duff trying to throw the slide job out to the outside wall. He's going to come home in 5th place. Joe Howe, Connor Dewick, Jared and Jake, and Dylan Evers rounding out the top 10. Late race drama build. Steve Duff was running P2. Patrick Spangler tries to go to the outside. Steve may have tried to do the diamond cut off at turn 4. Fireworks shoot off for race number 1 for the National Auto Racing Club. Trying to find the replay. Here we go. Maybe this is it. This is it. Chopper mode. 2 laps to go in turns 1 and 2. And you can see him. He was trying to, may have gotten loose. Maybe he was trying diamond cut, but Greg Lamy Jr. was sitting it hard next to the outside wall. Contact was made. Regardless, Patrick Spangler snuck up there to the 3rd spot. We jump into the Discord page. We'll get a quick interview with the top 3 drivers. What a fun race, though. A little bit of cautions there at the beginning. After that, it was fun. Jump into the Discord page. Wait till the top 3 drivers join up. Kind of curious, though, what will race control say about that? If anything. Here's the final results up there on your race screen. So Zach's going to bring home the win for the race number 1. Greg Lamy Jr. coming home in P2. Wide Open Motorsports driver Patrick Spangler. What a race that driver had. He came home in that final chance, or in that final podium spot. Wade Fields P4, and then Steve Duff rounding out the top 5. Joe Howe, Connor, Jared, Jake, and Dylan Evers rounding out the top 10. You have Jordan Eder, Ryan Washock, Jeff, Colin, Thomas, Jake, Jeremy, and Tim Alton rounding out the top 18. So that's how that's stacked up on down the list. 19th place, Kenny Hoffman, Trevor, Cole, Bruce, Brandon, then Tyler Shell. Rounding out that last spot there in the 24th spot. But the driver that's going to end up there in 2nd place, it's going to be Greg Lamy Jr. And Greg, I got to ask, man, might as well go straight to it. Turns 1 and 2. What happened to your point of view?
In the heat race or in the main, or
In
which race are we talking there?
in the main there.
In the main, I mean, for me, I didn't have much going on in the first lap that I remember. Just I was starting way in the back and just going to try to move forward as quickly as I could, and I feel
No,
like, okay.
with two laps to go, you guys made
Oh,
contact.
two
You
to
in the 15
go.
machine in turns
Oh, my
one and
bad,
two.
buddy. Yeah, so I was talking to Steve afterwards. I apologize because I felt bad. I don't wanna bump into people and things like that. And he had a good race going and strong all night. And he slid. I went back and watched the replay. He slid off the wall a little bit, but we were racing hard. And I mean that happens. Me and Tyler had that happen to us in the super late model race last night. Racing hard, get together, and I mean I'm just glad that we were both able to finish. So it sucks. I never want to race like that, but it is what it is.
Kind of a roller coaster night for you. Heat race did not pan out as well as you wanted to. I think you wrecked out, I think, on the backstretch on lap one or two. But then after that, man, you won the D main, the C main, you won the B main. And then here in the A main, man, you was able to slice and dice your way 15 spots to finish there in the P2 spot.
Yeah, man, it was didn't start out the way that I wanted, and I was really pushing there at the end to try to get by Steve, so me and Zach could battle it out and for the win. But well, let's hope for a better start next time and start with those guys up front so we can battle the whole time.
Race number one is in the books. National Auto Racing Club, they will move to Lernerville there in the 360s. How do you like that track?
Honestly, Lernerville's not one of my strongest tracks. I enjoy driving it, but it can get real slick and it's treacherous around the top. So me and the boys have some good setups for those tracks though. So I think we can do well. And just like I said, gotta have a better start to the night.
Very cool, man. Well, congratulations here in the A main show, finish there in the second spot after a roller coaster night. You got any sponsors or shout outs that you like to give?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always shout out Whiskey Oval. You guys do a great job. Love to go back and watch the races. I want to shout out the team, Elbows Up Sim Sport, SSR, the guys who put it on here, the admins, Tommy Brandon. Check them out if you need any help with anything dirt. They're awesome. They've coached me from the beginning. Jessup's Logistics, Paints by Tuna Can, Over the Wall Photography, BS Air, Anderson Speedway, Ergot Real Estate. All the guys that help us let us get out here every night and do this.
Very cool, man. We'll try to talk to you next Wednesday.
Sounds good, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Greg Lamy Jr. finishing there in that second spot after a roller coaster night. Big time roller coaster night. Contact made there in turns one and two. Drama build. I like it for race number one. The driver that's going to finish in the third spot, though, is Mr. Patrick Spangler. And Patrick, man, what a race.
Yeah, had some contact earlier. I'm surprised the car stayed in one piece and then just holding on and trying to keep it out of the wall.
Moving up 5 spots here in the Mac Daddy show to finish here on the last podium spot. Lot of wrecks there in front of you, it seemed like, man. It seemed like everyone that made it up into the top 5 wrecked.
Yeah, that one with like on the last stop where Duff got turn one. I thought he was gonna roll back to the track randomly, so I was like, "Ah, it's done here." But he hit the brakes at least, and he still almost slid me coming out of fourth to pass me again. But it was a good race, fun race.
Race number one, finishing there in the third spot, man. That's a pretty big confidence booster, huh?
Yep, for sure. I think it was my highest finish in the series so far, and a lot of big names here tonight.
Next week, National Racing Club, they go to Lernerville. I think I've heard through the grapevines that you kind of know that track. How do you like it here in the 360 sprint cars?
Probably my favorite car track combo is 360s at Lernerville. So hopefully, as long as I don't put her over the edge, I'll be in the same spot next week. Hopefully, we'll see.
Very cool, man. Finishing on the last podium spot. That's Patrick Spangler with Wide Open Motorsports. And you got any shout outs that you'd like to give?
Shout out to family that's watching it, dad, uncle. He's the owner of Spear Interior, sponsors the car, and you for putting this on, and Wide Open Motorsports for being a good team.
Very cool, man. We'll try to talk to you next Wednesday.
Thanks.
Thanks, brother. Patrick, moving up there in that, finishing there in that third spot. So that's going to do it. Final results up there on your screen one last time. Can I get an interview with the race leader of Zach? There's a couple times where he's won a race, and he never makes it into the interview channel. I don't think he likes to talk very much. Regardless, SSR Elite Sim Racing won the race. Greg Lemmy Jr. P2, Patrick Spangler third, Wade Fields, Steve, Joe, Connor, Jared, and Jake Sonatag, and then Dylan Evers running out the top 10, and what a race. Heat race number 1, that really set the tone for the rest of the evening. I mean, it was heat race number 1, I believe everyone crashed. That's at least what I said. Don't think it's true. There was 4 cars at least that did not crash, but I don't know. There was a lot of crashing in heat race number 1. That set the tone. And then heat race number 2, it got a little bit cleaner. Still some wrecks. And then heat race 3 and 4, they were all right. The D main, Greg Lemmy Jr. won that thing. Then he won the C main. Then he won the B main. You had Trevor Royer. He finishes back here in the 19th spot. Trevor finished second place right behind Greg there in the D, C, and B main. Had some trouble here tonight here in the Mac Daddy show. Finishing back in the 19th spot. But man, a lot of fast drivers did not make it to the end. Tyler Shell started on the outside of the front row. And I think he got disconnected. Finishing back 24th. Brandon, he finished 23rd. You had Cole, another pro driver. He finished in 22nd place. Bruce Klingen, then Kenny Hoppin, and then Trevor Tillmountain finished in the 18th spot. Crazy night here for the National Racing Club race number 1. Go check them out. Go join their Discord page at School of Sim Racing. All sorts of free setups. I was in a official race, or a public race as well, like a public team deathmatch race is what I like to call them. And everyone was talking about the School of Sim Racing setups. Even the official guys know where to get their setups. That's going to do it for race number 1. Race number 2, we go to Lernerville for a 360 sprint cars. Make sure you guys tune in back to Wisconsin_TV, either here on Facebook and or YouTube. We'll be back live. Congratulations to Zach once again, Greg and Patrick for the top 3 finishes. And until next time, everyone, please take care. Enjoy this new iRacing week. Get some wins. And I'll see you guys. Got a broadcast tomorrow with the Warhorse Dirt Car Series, some dirt late model action. Those guys always put on a very good show. Then a doubleheader on Sunday. And then back live Monday. And then back live with these guys on Wednesday. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Till next time, everyone, please take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys later.